Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today is Tuesday, May 31st, and this is the MLB DFS video for today. So in today's video, we'll be taking a quick look back at yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out, talking about my core picks for the FanDuel main slate for today, as well as my top GPP stacks from my article over at WeBetATS.com. But without further ado, we'll take a look at yesterday's picks and see how they turned out. At the pitcher position, we have Walker Buehler, obviously the most popular pitcher on yesterday's slate, $10,300. Got to 27 points, so he was a mess against this Pittsburgh Pirates team. He gave up just a few too many runs. Just wasn't that great, especially for the price tag we paid. So oddly enough, this Pittsburgh lineup's actually been hitting the ball rather well as of late, so probably a team to avoid pitching against. But, now that we say that, Julio Urias will probably throw like a no-hitter or something today, so I'm not going to say too much there about that. We had Gavin Lux, his teammate, at $2,500. He got to 0 points. He was a miss. He was 0 for 2 in this game. Then he got hit pinch hit for by Chris Taylor when the Pirates brought in Dylan Peters for the lefty-on-lefty matchup. So that was just kind of unfortunate there. And then we had Francisco Lindor at shortstop, $4,100. Got 22 points, so he was a really good hit yesterday. Lorenzo Cain, $2,100. He was a miss. He got 0 points, over 4 yesterday. It was a very good matchup for him against Drew Smyly. Just didn't pan out yesterday. And then Kiki Hernandez at $3,000. Looking pretty good against Tyler Wells, but everything was kind of opposite day yesterday. Some of the guys that we were stacking against Tyler Wells, Glenn Otto, those were some of the best pitchers on the slate, oddly enough. So it's like what you typically project just did not end up happening yesterday. Kind of unfortunate there, but Kiki Hernandez, 0 points, so he was that miss. Overall, 4 out of 5 were misses yesterday. Probably the worst day I've had since I started doing the MLB DFS videos. So obviously, you're going to have some rough patches day to day with MLB DFS, but the best part about it is we get to come back the very next day. And with that being said, we'll get moved over to my core picks for today. So we're going to start off first with pitcher Christian Javier, $8,700, going against the Oakland A's. Obviously not the most potent offense in the world. Christian Javier has pitched pretty well as of late, so I do like the upside that he does present here. Some strikeouts, maybe pitching 6-7 innings in the game against this Oakland A's team, and potentially getting the win as well. Then at first base, I went with Joey Votto here, $2,600. You can also look at Pete Alonso, who has very good history versus Patrick Corbin today. Maybe you can sneak him in your lineup still if you really want to, or if you wanted to play him and pay down a pitcher, that's definitely something that's viable as well. But Joey Votto, $2,600. Goes against the Boston Red Sox and Michael Wacha today. He is 16 for 44 with 2 home runs versus Michael Wacha, so there is some pretty good upside there today. Joey Votto, he's averaging just under 7 fantasy points per game on the season. Really slow start to the season, kind of hitting the ball a little bit better since he came back from the IL, the COVID stint, or whatever it was. I can't remember which one off the top of my head at this point in time. Then at shortstop, we had Francisco Lindor, $4,300. He's just been on a tear as of late. As you see, he's averaging just under 13 fantasy points per game. And he is 6 for 20 versus Patrick Corbin. So these Mets hitters are going to look pretty good against Patrick Corbin, who's been arguably the worst pitcher in all of baseball so far this season. So then we go down to his teammate, Starlin Marte, at $3,700, averaging just over 12 fantasy points per game. He's 8 for 30 versus Patrick Corbin in his career. Both these guys don't have home runs at this point in time, but that could definitely change today. Both these hitters are very hot as of late. Then we move down to our last pick in outfielder David Peralta, $2,700, averaging just over 8 fantasy points per game. Kind of been a little bit of a revival season for David Peralta. And, last year wasn't so good, kind of been banged up past couple of years, and starting to hit the ball a little bit better. He's going against the Atlanta Braves and Charlie Morton today. He's 6 for 11 versus him with 1 home run in his career, so it does offer a little bit of upside as well. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you'll have exactly $13,000 remaining, just over $3,200 per player. For some odd reason, it ends up being about $13,000 last couple of videos or so. But, you can always pay up for one guy, probably find some other value, or take a little bit more balanced approach. Definitely a lot of different ways to attack tonight's slate, especially on a 12-game slate overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my article over at WeBetATS.com and talk about my top GPP stacks for today. So the 3 that I do have today are the New York Mets. I already talked quite a bit about them against Patrick Corbin. Guys like Pete Alonso, guys like Starling Marte, Francisco Lindor. J.D. Davis is there too. He's got pretty good history versus Patrick Corbin. If he does end up starting today at $2,300, could be a pretty good value as well. You could look at other guys like Mark Canha and some of these other hitters that are in their lineup as well. And then we have the Houston Astros going against Frankie Montas. Frankie Montas is a guy that could pitch really well on any given day, but there's also days where he doesn't have his best stuff and he gets lit up too. These Astros hitters have really good history versus him, so I'm going to bet on the Astros hitters once again tonight. And then last but not least, we have the Dodgers going against the Pirates. Looks like Mitch Keller is going to get the start. He kind of got booted out of the rotation at one point this year. Now he's kind of back in the rotation. Been one of the bottom pitchers in all of baseball, so definitely a lot of upside there, especially with this Dodgers lineup overall tonight. But with that being said, these are my core picks as well as top GPP stacks for today, May 31st. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite player on tonight's slate, whether it's someone from my core picks, whether it's someone from my top GPP stacks, or a completely different player you guys think I missed. Definitely interested in hearing what you had to say. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig's Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, whether it's MLB or USFL. Those are the two at this point in time. Then once we get back around to the NFL and NBA regular seasons, I'll be covering those two sports as well. And then with that being said, if you are new or current subscribers yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily MLB DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.